Hey everybody, come on in. It's the Shawn Yankey Show. We're going to start in just a minute. I give you just a little time to settle in, get ready, and share. That's most important. Make sure that you share this out. It's just an independent little show. Independent media needs your help to survive. So get this out there. Share it with your friends. Invite your friends. Start a watch party. Get creative. Whatever you can do to spread this, please do. I shared it all I can. I'm just one person though. With your help, we can get this out far and wide. But thanks for coming. This is the Shawn Yankey Show. And what this is a truth-centered, conversation-driven talk show. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. I've been grappling lately with how to explain what it is we do here on this show. Every day it centers around truth. That's what the main core is. Let me do something really quick on Facebook, and it may cause an audio glitch here in a second. You may hear this, but I want to pull it really up so I can Facebook. See, I told you. There we go. So I just wanted to make sure we were good on Facebook because it's telling me that the video's bad. It does that. It messes with me, but everybody's aware of that. We've talked about it multiple times. Facebook pulls shenanigans. Joan says it's their favorite part of the day. Aw, that's amazing. Lori says we support and love each other. And that's true. I attract a great group. I've been blessed in that way. I don't know what it is, but I seem to attract really open-minded and loving people. We have a great comment section. It's always a really good conversation. So come on in. And you will find we are cannabis friendly around here. Paul is rolling up a fatty. Jack may mention, and you may hear it a couple more times, I am a cannabis enthusiast, and my beliefs do seep in. You know, this is an opinion-driven show. But I have some things set aside to get the conversation going that we're going to talk a little bit about. And then we'll get into the comments and get going whichever direction you guys want. The end of this show, you never know where we're going to end up. We have a plan at the beginning, but it goes where it goes. But I wanted to get into a few things, and one thing I wanted to talk about right at the beginning, just because it's on my mind. It's kind of petty. I get it. It's a small thing to be complaining about. I understand. But let me just start the story. Today was a pretty good day at work. You know, what I do for a living, for money, I enjoy it actually. You know, I don't mind my job. I'm pretty comfortable at my job. And it was a good day till about 9 a.m. My boss got a conference call. She has every day now because of this COVID, the Rona. She has a conference call every day at 9 a.m. about this. And she predicted it before the call, but right after she got off the call, it became mandatory that all employees have to wear masks at all times. And I was forced to wear that uncomfortable fucking thing all day. And I absolutely hated it. And I was just telling Babels about it. And she thinks I'm being whiny. And maybe I am. But I don't think it's necessary for me to be wearing a mask. You know, for one, I have zero contact with the customers. You got to understand, right now, we are in a no contact situation. The lobby isn't even open. And the only contact at all with the customers happens at the 2 drive-through windows. I happen to work in service, so I was taking orders. I'm on a computer, basically. I'm not dealing with anybody. I got gloves on and a mask. It's ridiculous. I felt so foolish. And I was angry about it. Ginger says, we beg for those masks in a hospital. This is not a fancy one. These are not the good ones. These are TV doctor masks. They come in the box of 100. You probably do beg for those even, which is sad. That's terribly sad. But now we have these masks and we're forced to wear them. I hate them. Lori says they're harmful to your health. I don't know how it can be good for you. Why does a healthy person that's not interacting with anybody, and inside the building we're practicing social distancing, I'm not near anybody, why do I need to be wearing a mask if I don't find it necessary? I think it should be a choice. It's not essential to my job. Like Ginger works in the healthcare industry, and in her industry, it is. In mine, though, this is ridiculous. And Helen, it says that she's not wearing one. She happens to live in Illinois. That happens to be a state that's requiring its citizens to wear masks out in public. I don't want to. I don't consent. I don't want to do it. And I don't feel like I'm being childish. I felt a little childish. Because, I will admit to you, I got a little pouty and, pulled it down around my chin. Because I'm just pressing a headset button and talking to customers. I'm not interacting with anybody but machinery, electronics. Why am I wearing a mask? Why can't we send these masks to hospitals that need them? Somebody that actually needs them. But you know what it's for? It's for the illusion of safety. Because the person in the car gets to look in, oh, everybody's wearing a mask. They're super safe in there. It's the illusion. That's what we're selling. Paul says, I just let it dangle on my chin like everyone else. I did that. That's where it ended up. It stayed on my face for maybe an hour to an hour and a half, and then it just ended up down here. But that sucks too, because now it's pulling on my ears. And why am I wearing this thing? I don't see any reason for it. Zero. But we all know I'm not super concerned about the virus. And I could be misdirected in that. Again, I've said that over and over again. But where I live and what I'm seeing, I see no justification for this mass panic and fear. And I don't like what they're using it for. And I feel like we're being conditioned. And we'll get to that more, because I want to talk about a story that leads us again to how this could actually be a plandemic. And this could all just be a setup. And we'll get to that later on. But I don't feel it's necessary. And I feel we're being conditioned and trained for something. But things are getting bad. 30 million people are now unemployed due to the shutdowns and all of this that's happening around the Rona. 30 million. They're estimating it to hit, what was it? Last time I saw, close to 50 million. Which would be devastating. How do we recover from this? If you are of the opinion that these lockdowns and this shutdown and all of this is necessary, how do we recover from this financially? I really want to understand it. It doesn't look good. I don't understand enough about it. Economics, I guess. Because some people feel like we can do this. I've been watching, I like Tim Black. I pretty much only watch independent media. He's someone I emulate and look up to. He started out doing what I'm doing. And he's pretty successful at it at this point. I like his show. He is fear-mongering his ass off right now about this Rona. I think that's irresponsible. It would be as irresponsible as me getting on here saying there's nothing to worry about, which may sound like what I'm doing, but it's not. I think there is a virus. It's serious. You need to be careful. Nothing to this degree. I really don't think. I'm not qualified to make that assessment, but I really just don't think so. And I don't understand and would be open to it being explained to me how we recover from the devastation of this. For example, Beva's works at a local bar. that has had to been closed down this entire time. Now, I understand they're eligible for certain small business loans and things from the government in the stimulus package, and that's all well and good. But how much are they suffering? How long can that go on? But it's not like this Rona thing is the only problem. The real pandemic, the real epidemic that everyone needs to be concerned about, and if anything is a threat to all of humanity, to the whole world, it's this greed that lords over us all. We all have the same enemies, and they have no countries. They're these elitist assholes, and we need to rise up against them. And tomorrow is the May Day general strike. Now, this is the eve. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to taking part in the May Day general strike, and I hope as many of you as can will, and in as much of way of it as you can. This is the first, for me, may not be for you, but for me, getting involved in a general strike like this, first real time. So I'm not going to judge anybody. Do what you can. I don't know the rules, but we can send a message of solidarity to the elite. These are the kind of messages that get through to them. And I've been told that, well, it won't do much, and it's just going to be a ripple. And those are all true. That's how things get rolling, though. This is how change takes place from the ground up and getting people involved. And it's not a one-shot deal. That's the other thing that people need to understand. This is a movement. This is a general strike movement, and it includes different things. It includes a rent strike. It includes, I'm getting to their page. I'm kind of stalling until I pull it up. But it's not just a worker strike. It's a rent strike and a debt strike as well. It's a whole movement that they put together. And it's the General Strike 2020 movement. And I will share the link on both this streams. I would share it on Periscope too, but I've got to figure out a way to interact better with Periscope during the streams. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. And I'm looking for more places to get out to, just because you try to spread truth as much as you can. It's really hard to, though. It's suppressed. But here's that link. I'm going to put it on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're here on Periscope, I apologize that I wasn't able to get it to you. But there it is on YouTube and Facebook. But it's the general, let me read it off for Periscope. It's the www.genstrike.org. So that's the official website of the movement, but it's not a one-shot deal. And these are the type of things that I believe are going to make the biggest difference moving forward. These things we do, individual acts of public unity and displays of unity and power. And our power is in our numbers. We have to join together. We have to do things united as much as possible. And maybe a lot of people don't, like a massive number, and it makes a huge strike to the establishment in the first strike. But it'll get it moving and get it going, and it'll build excitement. That's how you build movements. You don't start off hitting home runs. You got to practice. Steve says Jimmy Dore won't leave his house, but we live in urban areas. Why won't he leave his house? I'm not. Why aren't I concerned? Should I be? People tell me I should. There's a guy on Reddit super mad at me, and very angry. I understand that it's an illness and it's a virus. I get that. We have one of these a severe one, at least every two years. This has not surpassed, say, the swine flu. Why didn't we react like this to that? And then when you start looking at fingerprints that are all over it, and pre-planning. It gets weirder and weirder and weirder, which are an upcoming piece that we're going to talk about gets into. But real quick, I wanted to talk about some establishment BS. And I see that the comment section on Facebook's going real good. And we are going to get to your comments, but I want to make sure I get everything out. This is from establishment news. Nancy Pelosi has now added her name to the list of powerful establishment women who have endorsed Joe Biden. And today she was confronted about it because of the Tara Reade rape allegations against Joe Biden. And here is her official statement. She says, "I have great sympathy for any woman who brings forth an allegation. I'm a big, strong supporter of the Me Too movement. I think it's made a great contribution to our country, and I do support Joe Biden," Pelosi said on CNN. "I'm satisfied with how he's responded. I know him. I was proud to endorse him Monday. Very proud to endorse him. I'm satisfied with that." Then she even doubled down when asked directly about the Tara Reade allegations by a reporter. This is what she had to say then. She said that she respected the question, but she didn't need a lecture, adding that there are things such as due process and the fact that Joe Biden is Joe Biden. Now, let's unpack that for a bit. What does that mean, do you think? What does that mean to somebody with a $32,000 refrigerator packed with, what was it, $13 a pint ice cream? What does that mean to somebody like that? Joe Biden is Joe Biden. The fact that Joe Biden is Joe Biden. What does that mean? He has certain protections? Is that what it means? That he's part of your elite club and he's untouchable? So that's the factor? Is that what that means? That Joe Biden is Joe Biden? I think that's what it means. They're the untouchables, they believe. These people, they think they can do anything they want, that they have endless power. In a lot of ways, they're not wrong. They get away with it. We can't let it continue. How do you think Nancy Pelosi got to be so rich? By working for the people? By having the people's best interest in mind? No. Hey, Kilo, good to see you. Good to see somebody comment on YouTube. YouTube has been quiet today. We are 20 minutes deep, and Kilo's comment is the first comment on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube's chatty. It's hard to tell. We are just still growing on YouTube, though. And for a complete video site, it's hard to get a footing, really is. And I think it's because of the subject matter that we cover. But I'm going to go ahead and skip to the last story so I can get to the comments, because it seems like there's a lot of little discussions going on Facebook, and I'm going to have to catch up. And I want to make sure I get this out. And let's see. But this next bit, it's going to be a little tricky, because as we all know, Big Brother is always listening in. And there are certain things you are not allowed to talk about anymore on social media, which is the only real place for sharing, public sharing, outside of the mainstream established owned media. The only place for that. So it's all government owned, and censorship has been corporatized. And there's keywords you can't say. So we'll be careful. I will try to be as careful as I can. Like I've been calling it Rona now, because you get flagged if you bring it up. But there's a story that we need to get into. And I found a lot of other places that covered this better, but I want to go ahead and just link to the Newsweek article. This is from Newsweek, okay? Most people would read this story and think nothing of it, but we need to go into it. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, right? He's an advisor to President Trump about this pandemic right now, and something of a hero. He's advised like six or seven presidents. And he leads an organization called the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And that organization has been funding scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and other institutions to do work on gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses. Why is that extremely interesting? What does gain-of-function research mean? Well, gain-of-function research is a clever way of saying creating a bioweapon. Basically, you're enhancing a virus and changing it and boosting it, making it more dangerous in order to see if you can fight it. Well, that's all well and good, when you defend it from a scientific perspective. This is for the advancement of science and all that, and so we can learn. That's great. But what if it gets out? So, Rona is this virus causing the current pandemic, I almost said, but it's believed to have originated in bats. So, and in Wuhan, this is extremely interesting. Very near bioweapon manufacturing plants. Come on now. Was there a leak? Did they know? They're all over it. Their fingerprints are all over this. And all of the war games that took place beforehand, planning out exactly this event, funded by Bill Gates, who happens to be Fauci's buddy. It's pretty weird. The deeper you dig, the weirder it gets. And yes, I guess it could just be hundreds of coincidences. But what's the possibility of that mathematically? Someone explain it to me. Because too much is lining up over and over and over again. The same names are coming up over and over and over again. Matter of fact, Bill Gates, who again is not a doctor, not a scientist, not qualified to be an expert on anything really, has now released a timeline for the vaccination scheduling. This is off the charts if you're a truther. Your red flags have to be going up everywhere. I can't be the only one. Let me try to catch up. I'm going to try to catch up with the comments on Facebook. Sorry. Lori says they can't get masks because the public wears them for no reason. Yeah, you can't even get them on Amazon. Before they got all these masks, I don't know how they got them. They're hard to get. Before they got these, a lot of employees, not a lot, but a few, who were concerned, wanted masks and were trying to buy them themselves off of Amazon. They were sold out. They were very hard to get. Why are they okay with it? It's not cute. It's not funny. Paul says you got to misspell names to trick the algorithms. But isn't it sad that we got to play these games now that we live in this kind of society where everything is controlled and you can't say certain words? As a creator on YouTube, I've been given alerts that my channel can be taken down if I speak against the World Health Organization, for instance. Why? And again, if you're really speaking against the official narrative on the Rona, which I wouldn't even attempt to do, I'm not qualified to do. But why? Susan says Fauci broke protocol and spent our money to proceed with these unstable tests behind the back of everyone. And this is the money that's being exposed, that they had to write down on paper. What about all the hidden money that's going into stuff like this? People don't believe that these could be bioweapons. It's always thought of as ridiculous. Why? Bioweapons are real. There's many bioweapons facilities. We're not the only country doing it. They're everywhere. We have our own. It's a real thing. So it's not ridiculous. And they do experiment with these viruses. And that's what they call these experiments, gain-of-function research. But yeah, they've invested this particular organization, not foundation, led by Fauci, invested millions of dollars and actually has where's that at? How many year deal? I don't remember if it was 6 or 9 year deal. And you know how it is when you're trying to find something, you can never find it. Anyways, it says in the Newsweek article that Fauci didn't want to respond to requests for comment. But I find it very interesting that Fauci is behind funding for a bat-based coronavirus that has been enhanced through gain-of-function research, and then a bat-based coronavirus breaks out near the place that this research is being conducted. How many coincidences have to line up? How much evidence do you need? You know what I mean? There's foul play here. There was at least foreknowledge. There's 3 separate war games, detailed war games, took place before this. Months before this pandemic broke out. Planning out the reaction to exactly what's happening. They at least knew. I know they plan things all the time. They do practices all the time. They do war games all the time. I'm not buying into the coincidence argument anymore. You know? A detective wouldn't solve a case that way. And they wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to ignore everything because it could be a coincidence. They don't believe in coincidences. Kilo says, I don't feel it's a military bioweapon because it's inefficient. It doesn't fit for the battlefield. Not a bioweapon. This would be, in this situation, what we're kicking around right now, would be a gain-of-function research, an enhanced version of a coronavirus to try and fight it. They do these studies. And the same facilities do make bioweapons. But I think something similar to this happened with Lyme disease at Plum Island. And we've covered that before and could talk about it again. This would not be the first time that this has ever happened. Let's see. Ginger says, I only wear a cloth mask when I go out, and because I work in a hospital, so I'm more likely to carry COVID. See, that's really the only thing that the quality masks that we're getting to wear at work, from what I've been told, is really all they do is keep you from getting other people sick. They wouldn't stop you from getting sick. Like, it's not the, I'm going to sound like an idiot now because I don't know the name of them, but the P95, is it? The official masks, the ones you're supposed to use, the real ones that actually protect you from it. That's not what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the cloth mask that you're talking about that really would only stop me from infecting other people. And being how I have very minimal contact with anyone, I don't think I need to be wearing it. Carol says Bill Gates' plan is to get the entire world vaccinated eventually. They're talking about this vaccine being mandatory. They're having real discussions about it. And at least tracking everyone who has it and doesn't have it. Why? Why? Is there any justification for it? I don't see it. And I don't like it. I don't like the implications of it. You know, they take advantage of things. Every crisis that ever happens. They don't ever let anything, even organic situations, go to waste. They always take advantage of them fully. They have things on the back burner they've been wanting to do forever. And they use these opportunities to push them through. Lori says hungry people kill. Gates has a solution for that too. Lori says hold on to your guns if you have them. I don't own any guns, but I can see why you would want to. I'm starting to more and more understand it and feel like I kind of maybe need one. Brett says, how much will the government save on everyone that died in a nursing facility at $6,000 a month plus medical? He said the masks are just a cover so you can't come back years later and sue employers or corporations for putting human lives in harm's way. See, what I thought they were doing, and this was just my personal theory, is, they gave all these loans to these businesses, and I think they were just doing publicity for the loan, I think that's what causes them to have these daily conference calls and all this around the coronavirus and taking it so seriously. And they're even taking pictures of us in our masks. So that's what I think is, but it's just weird. The whole thing is weird. It's very uncomfortable. Susan has Dobermans instead of guns. I have a cousin who raises Dobermans, but they attacked her once. Now, I would be scared. I don't know. But I don't know anything about those dogs. I always feel like there's no such thing as a bad dog. Like pit bulls, they have a bad rap. Those are the most gentle dogs. They look like a badass. Don't get me wrong, they're badass looking. They're very gentle dogs. It was one of the best dogs I ever owned, was a pit bull. So, I think it's the way you raise it. And there's no such thing as a bad dog, I don't think. Lori says, my neighbor got held up at gunpoint across the street from my house. What? That's awful. Houston's murder rate is up 35%. Why aren't we hearing about this? Susan says no one comes by my house without being scared. Man, that's awful. Oh, of the dogs. I get it now. I was starting to get depressed. I was like, oh my God, is everybody living in a high crime area? Am I lucky to live surrounded by cornfields? Maybe I am. Bebas likes it, this kind of living. We live so far away from civilization, like 25-minute drive to go to a store. I hate it. She loves it. She wants to live further out. Maybe it is good, but I sometimes end up out of touch with things. Steve says the problem isn't the virus per se. It says some people's immune systems overreact. Vaccines as well. No, I know it's dangerous. That's, again, why I try to say it all the time. Anytime we get into talking about it. I don't think the fear in the reaction is justified. And it's got me worried and concerned. He says pit bulls are awesome. Awesome dogs. Awesome dogs. The best dog I ever had. Somebody stole her too. Somebody stole her out of my yard. Pissed me off. She was amazing. Very protective dog too. Hold on. Okay, YouTube flags comments. I'll have to give you a little backstory before I tell you what just happened. This one, though, there's no reason why this should be flagged. This is what I was talking about with Big Brother. Kilo said, I'd like to live in the middle of nowhere, too. I hate people. Are you not allowed to say hate? Well, how far are we going with this shit? How much are we going to put up with and tolerate and allow to happen? That's the key point. Allow to happen. We're letting this happen. They're going to keep doing everything they can get away with, and the more we allow, the more they'll do. Azora says, more businesses are requiring masks to be worn, but some people are refusing to comply with it. I wanted to. I did. I'm not going to lie. I have a defiant nature, and I was sitting there the whole time going, man, I want to refuse. I don't want to wear it. There's no reason for me to be wearing it. None. Kilo says, I've been through training when the create an army on paper and in reality, equipment and air support, even though it's a training exercise, the paperwork and methods can seem different. What was he talking about? Oh, the war games. So, take the war games with a grain of salt. I get that they're common. I get that they happen a lot. They're not always funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, though, and all three of these were. And they're not all hosted by the same organizations, multiple different organizations connected to each one. Same fingerprints all over it, all lining up to the same thing that's going on. It's kind of like when 9/11 happened and there was all those war games that diverted the fighter jets. That was a convenient coincidence, wasn't it? I don't believe in coincidences. Some people do. Some people do. And there are war games. It is a common thing. So it could have been just a coincidence that there was all these tabletop war games. And one was a 13-day exercise. Dark Winter. It's very interesting. He says, I want to live in a cave somewhere and say, screw society. I think we should start a commune. I really do. I want to get enough people together and just get a patch of land and unplug from society. I don't like what I'm seeing happening. I don't like the direction I see things heading at all. But let's see. Yeah, Lori says no coincidence. I don't believe in it. These coincidences. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. At what point is it irresponsible to not pay attention? How many things, red flags, need to pop up before somebody goes, hey, maybe I should look at this. Maybe this is a little weird. Fauci's putting millions of dollars into a bat-based coronavirus. He's tied to Bill Gates. Bill Gates is funding multiple war games, planning how to react to an animal-based coronavirus. One of the war games specifically a bat-based. One of them was based in a pig. Regardless, all of them having symptoms matching what's going on right now. It's a lot of damn coincidences. I get you that it could be. But I could also win the lottery, you see. I think it's mathematically impossible when so many coincidences just line up together. Diverted fighters, yes, on 9/11. There were multiple war games on 9/11 that diverted our Air Force away from where things were going on. And the war, not only that, the war games were similar to what was happening in real life. So they didn't know how to respond, whether it was real world or exercise. This is known. It's in their official reports even. They don't deny having these war games. But again, you could be right. Could just been a coincidence. They could have been planning mass hijack war games for a long time. They could do multiple ones. They could do them once a month. I don't really know. I do know there was multiple war games going on that coincided with the real world situations that were happening on 9/11, and that their reaction was delayed in multiple instances because they didn't know if they were reacting to the exercise or real world. Nazor says, I know some employees of a well-known corporate chain store who did refuse. They were not terminated, but are told not to come to work for the next 30 days. And what are they supposed to do? And they can't file unemployment because they're not unemployed. They didn't get fired. They still have a job. So how are they supposed to survive for 30 days? Says, I guess they'll lose money and we'll have to reevaluate the situation at the end of May. Yeah, they'll end up having to wear that damn mask, won't they? Which is the same conclusion I ended up coming to today. I wore it. I didn't want to. I hated it. And I felt like a slave wearing it. Like I felt like I'm being forced to do this. I don't want to do this. I would not be doing this if I wasn't being made to. And that could make me irresponsible, but I don't feel the need to wear this mask. And I think that needs to be my choice. Same with the vaccination. And I don't like this talk of making it mandatory or wanting to track who does and doesn't get it. I think it's great. You want to get it, get it. I don't. I don't want to get it. That's my choice. And I need to be able to have that choice. I don't like this stuff, this talk of it being mandatory. Yeah, Kathy, there's no such thing as coincidence. There's too many of these coincidences. Come on, it's silly. Brett says, why has China built a bunch of coal, fire, and electric plants when they don't even use the ones that are already built? I don't know. It's a good question. Jones says people don't know how to think for themselves anymore. They all just follow the crowd right off the cliff. I don't fit in very well because I have a functioning brain. Yeah, it's a disadvantage to be even slightly intelligent. To just have walking around sense and good common sense is a disadvantage because it's very uncomfortable. Most people don't. You're right. Steve says Fauci's past is even sketchy. He stole some patents from other researchers. Check out Value Entertainment or Valuetainment on YouTube. I don't think I follow that channel. I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, Kathy, start a phone sex line, work from home. Be an entrepreneur. That's the key. That's the key. I get told that all the time. You know, people tell me there was 600-something millionaires created last year in the United States. You could be somebody. 600. It's pretty impressive. So you do a statistical analysis against what? The population of the United States is impressive, but again, you could win the lottery. It could happen. You could be one of those 600. Carol says the CDC owns many patents on vaccines. You got a purple bathroom now? This has been painting. People doing different things with their Rona check. And this is painting with her. She's doing a little decorating. I plan on getting me some treats, treating myself if I get a Rona check. I don't even know if I'm getting a Rona check. I'm not even sure. But if I do, I am going to treat myself. Kilo says, commune is not a bad idea. Your brother and you've been talking about it. That's where I'm leaning. Man, we need to get out of here. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like where this is going. I don't like where things are heading. We need to join together, and we need to get into self-defense mode. Otherwise, we got to raise awareness. We got to start waking people up. We got to get people aware of what's going on in the world. Get them to look, and open their eyes, and see that there's always more going on than what you're being told. Always, always. Joan didn't get a Rona check yet. Anybody else? Let's take a little poll. Have you got your Rona check? Did you get your bribe money? Lori says they ran the homeless out of Denver today. They were living in tents after losing their jobs. 30 million so far. And those are the ones that have filed unemployment. And there's been a lot of problems with filing unemployment. So it's not even an accurate number. Plus you got to consider how many people like my Babel's boss at the bar are affected who don't file unemployment. They're self-employed. There's a lot of people hurt by this. A lot. Jones says they better put another Rona check through the bills. Won't be getting paid soon. There's going to be a rent strike whether they like it or not. And a debt strike as well. People aren't going to be able to pay. And how could they? How could they? What is $1,200 supposed to do? Really? I'm lucky. I'm essential. A lot of people may not think that's lucky. I haven't been hit financially. That's why I think it's lucky. I'm not afraid. So, but a lot of people have been hit really hard financially. And people need to understand that. And $1,200 didn't do shit. What could it do? Most people would have that ate up completely by their rent. And what do you do for the rest? No, why didn't they do a real relief package? Why didn't they put a rent freeze and a freeze on payments? I saw someone ranting about this. I can't remember his name, Vic DeBito, I think. But he made some excellent points. They could have just put it on the back end of your loans, like your mortgage payments. Stop mortgage payments. Stop all that stuff. Stop rent. And just put it on the back end of stuff. You know, not with rent, but you would do that for the property owners. Their payment would stop. You know, that's what sucks about like a rent strike for independent renters that own, you know, you got 5 or 6 properties and you rent them out. It would hurt them, a rent strike. That's unfortunate. But not if the government had done something like this, like a real relief package for people, give you real protections. But no, $1,200, what's it taken since this has first started? So some people have been impacted now since like March, right? Or was it before March? A long time. It's now May. Tomorrow's May 1st. $1,200. What's that supposed to do? Brett says never going to get checked. I don't even want a federal ID. It's none of the government's business. Absolutely right. But what do you guys think of this? They talk about wanting to get us all on a digital identification system. What do you think that means? Getting chipped up. And then at first maybe it'll be voluntary. And then what if eventually you can't do anything without it? They do that all the time with things. They're like a python. You put it on you slow, you know. Creep it on you. You got to watch them. I'm not comfortable with that. You know, and people will buy it though. They'll sell it for convenience. You know, there's already companies doing it, chipping their employees. It's crazy. Jones says some of the states did freezes on their own, but they won't pass it nationally. Oh, what's she talking about? Lori says Unicorn Riot live streamed the National Guard running off the Denver homeless. I'll have to look that up. So I do follow Unicorn Riot. Susan got her run check. Nissa got hers. I know that because she's painting with it. He says the stimulus is just a peace offering, just to say they did something. Yeah, this is the kind of petty shit that helps these bastards sleep at night. As Nancy Pelosi eats her $13 pint ice cream. You know, we did it. We did give them a piece of that relief package. You know, out of $2-something trillion, the American people saw $360 million of it. That's not much of that pie. You know, by the time the president signed it, they had hidden $4 more trillion in it for the upper 1% and their elite buddies. They screwed us royally. They didn't help anybody. He says, yeah, no to a digital ID system. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Lori says social credit score and mind control. And that's exactly what they would do. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly where this talk leads. They want to track nationally everybody who does and doesn't have this vaccination. Now you might be like, okay, well, we need to know. I'm scared. I'm worried. If Joe is going to come to work and he's not going to be vaccinated, everybody needs to know about that. What if what excuse is also good for to put everybody on that kind of list? You know what they're doing right now? They're having people track it through medical professionals who are ratting people out. And then people will call out and reach out to these people and try to find out everyone you've been in contact with. And then they contact those people and try to reach out in this little web. It's fucking creepy what's happening. Kathy says, maybe have a retirement plan that doesn't hold people hostage to the roof over their heads. There's a lot of things. This system is rigged up against us. It really is. Lori says the 2020 ID chip is patented by Gates, and the last 6 digits of the patent are 060606. This is true. I just covered it in a video on the YouTube channel called Patent 666. Check it out. It's been doing pretty good as far as for his videos on the Truth channel. Like I said, it's hard to share truth videos. It's hard to spread them. It's hard to get them out. They crush them in the algorithm. You got to be sneaky. And like Paul was saying, I need to start doing stuff like misspelling things and trying to be more careful. But it's doing pretty good. Check it out. I get into detail in there and about this patent. But she's right. She's not making that up. 666 right there in the patent number. Joan says they have been talking about a homeless crisis coming soon because evictions have already started and people can't pay their mortgages. You know how many people missed rent April 1st? Like I said, there's a rent strike coming whether they like it or not. There's a debt strike coming as well. We're heading for a situation that is twice as bad as the Great Depression. It's terrifying what we're heading towards. Things are going to get very bad. And for what? Why did we do this? Why? What's the real reason? You know, they're talking about things like getting everybody on a digital dollar, putting us on UBI. Think about the things they're talking about now. And they are printing money out of thin air. They're talking about a new stimulus package. And you know how they're going to pay for it? They're going to mint $2 trillion coins. And with that, they want to put everybody on a UBI, but you need to be on the digital dollar. You need to be, right now they're speaking of it in like a card form, but that's the only way to get money. You become part of this new program, and it's, you know, going to be neat, and it's all paperless. That's where they want it to go. And then they're going to eventually want to put that on a microchip, and they're going to want to put that in you, and for convenience, and then you're screwed. Your ID, everything's going to be tied to some chip that can be shut off and rug pulled out from you at any time because they've deemed you an enemy of the state. This is dangerous where this heads. This road doesn't lead to a good place. So I don't consent. I don't like this. I don't like what I'm seeing. Yeah, Lori, fear-based control of the sheep. That's what they do. They use even real things. Like, again, this is real. It's being used for nefarious reasons. And I know that I'm right. I know that I'm right because it's not justified. It makes no sense otherwise. Helen says there's thousands that already volunteer for tracking. That is unbelievable. We're sheep. We are. Not us. We're lucky. We're fortunate. But think about the others. Really. It's sad. It's scary. It's scarier the more you think about how much we depend on these people. But they will. They'll line up for this shit. You can't wait. It's going to be so great. Think about the 5G, for example. People clamoring for this shit. They don't even know what it's going to do. It's never even been properly tested. Carol says we owed taxes, so I had to pay that before we got a check. I owe child support, so they'll at least garnish it. Like, that's what I mean. I don't even know if I'm getting a Rona check. But I don't owe her $1,200, so I might get a fraction of it. Who knows? We'll see. Lori says I don't make anything up. I don't either. It's not that I don't ever say anything wrong, though, but if I ever do, I would totally own that shit. And I would want to be called out on it, you know? Because like I said, at the backbone of everything that we do on the Shawn Yankey show. It's weird having the title now be my name. You'd be amazed how much that has gotten into my friggin' head. It's made it really weird for me, especially every time I see it. Every time I see the picture of what it looks like for you guys, and I see that my name is right there real big, it fucks with my head. I don't like it. But it just made sense to get it all under one brand. But everything we do on this show is centered around truth, and that's what my intent is. It's an opinion-based, comment-driven show, but at its core, the truth is always what the interest is. Because I feel like that's how we wake people up, spreading the truth and raising awareness, getting information out there. It's getting harder and harder to do, but that's our weapon. That's how we fight back against the evil in the world. I think we can all agree that evil and extreme greed is controlling us and has way too much power, and that the only way to fight them is to join together. Realize that they are a united enemy against us, and we're at war whether we fight in it or not. Zora says they're already talking about a second check when they can't even get the first one done. Yeah, everybody hasn't even received the first one. But they're talking about things like UBI. I told you that was the only reason why Yang was running for president. He was a pitch man for UBI. They sell this shit. That's what they do. He was never had any even wildest dream of becoming president of the United States. His entire campaign was to sell UBI to the people. And they're already trying to roll that shit out. They can't wait. You know, then they want to put us in smart cities, like cockroaches, living on top of each other. You know, like some of this dystopian nightmare shit you see in movies, it's exactly what they want to do. Or what you see happening in other countries, like maybe China, for example, that's what they want to do to people. Put you in clusters and then have large portions of land off limits to people. Things are going to get real bad. We allow it. We can't. Got to watch what we give up and what we allow in the interest of safety. Lori says, come watch my show Sunday. You'll see us cover scenarios of the future of technologies and international development, Illuminati depopulation agenda. Right on. Right on. What time? You got to tag me. I want to see that. That would be cool. Brett says you got your Rona check Wednesday. I love screwing the government. Yeah, treat yourself. Do something nice for you. Make that money about Brett. Don't pay your rent with it. He says, keep in mind you can make your own gas in the form of moonshine, and your own power supply in the form of solar energy via a solar array collector, battery inverter, and some wires. See, you are our electrician. I'm telling you, we got to make a little commune. We got to do this. It's the only way to survive. Jack's going to be our grower. He's our electrician. We're getting this together. We got nurses. We got healthcare providers. We're going to grow. And we're going to make a strong commune. That's how we're going to survive, guys. We got to do something. Susan says, stick it to the man. Hell yeah. Tomorrow, May Day, general strike. Participate. Stick it to the man. Show them that we do not want their greed-driven system anymore. We want change. This is how we send a message. So participate in the strike. Spread awareness. Get an excitement about it. Help inform people. And check out the general strike movement for more information. It's not just a one-time thing. But yes, stick it to the man tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day to stick it to the man. Don't go buying anything. Don't make any purchases, anything like that. And, call in sick, go fishing. Marie says Yang is suing New York for not doing the presidential ballot. Yang is putting on a show then. Joan says they got rid of the pandemic task force just in time before all this happened. Right. Isn't that interesting? Marie says, what am I talking about? Inappropriate as hell. Oh, replying to Marie. I don't know. I was referring to Yang. Oh, I don't know what's going on. But Yang was to sell UBI. That was the purpose of Yang. That was what he was doing. Kilo says, like Hunger Games, everyone confined to a district with electric wire fences? Basically. Look at a map of Agenda 2030. This is where they want to go. This is what they want to happen. Whether or not they get there will be up to us. Because they're going to move forward with it. That's the direction they're heading. That's their utopia. Because they think there's too many of us. What they'd really love is to wipe a large number of us out. But who they can't wipe out, they intend to manage us. And people are already noticing it. It's already happening. With these, under the fear of this lockdown with the Rona, they're already removing people's rights. Brett went on strike in 2000. You self-employed, ain't you? Well, I'm proud that I got through my whole list of notes today. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. This has been tough. I'm going to be honest. We renamed 16 episodes ago to the Shawn Yankey Show. I used to have a bunch of different shows. Yankee Rants, Conspiracy Theories and Chill, Hindsight News, a bunch of different things. So now we just put it all under one umbrella. I'm ADD. I was in too many different directions. This made it easier and simpler, and it's probably going to be better as far as growing an audience, as far as people learning who I even am, because it just seemed like the better way to go. But it has been a growing and changing experience. Kind of even figuring out what we're about has been a process. But I think we're getting there. We're finding our footing, and it's getting better. But thanks for hanging out, guys. This is the Shawn Yankey Show. We do this every day. Real quick, though, I want to ask you, do we have a show tomorrow? Am I working right now? I don't feel like I'm working. You know what I mean? But I don't know the rules again. Like, I feel like we do. I vote yes on the show tomorrow. You let me know how you feel. But thanks for watching, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this Thursday night edition of the Shawn Yankey Show. We gather every day at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I'm learning more time zones. I will eventually learn yours if I didn't list it off. But whatever time this show started tonight, tomorrow, it's going to start at the same time. Monday through Friday. And thanks for watching and hanging out with us. And I appreciate it if you shared and if you commented. Commenting really helps. A lot of people don't realize that. And we depend on it. It drives this show. But thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow night on the next episode of the Shawn Yankey Show. I appreciate you. Have a good night, guys.